So we have time for your closing, I hope, Diane.
Yeah, but I mean, there may be some things that people want to say because this was very rich and it stirred up a lot. And so let's not leave it hanging. It's all right if we don't get to the closing today. But I think it would be good if people want to share stuff that came up. Because it's very up right now. I don't know how many of you saw the news about Dave Chappelle's thing on Saturday Night Live and how much controversy there is amongst the community of comedians and Jon Stewart's response and all this stuff. And there's a lot of stuff between the Black community and the Jewish community right now. And, it's so yeah, let maybe open some space for people to share.
I just wanted to say that what came up for me more than anything was gratitude for, my long association with Jewish Renewal, because none of those things would have been part of my life were it not for that. I didn't grow up with the Yiddish speaking, some of my father's relatives spoke German, but it was like America. We did America. We did American. We did American holidays. We didn't even do Jewish holidays except that I did them, So anyway, I was very happy to have that. And it also, of course, was very poignant for me with Cantor Richard Kaplan's memorial recently.
Michelle?
In the first one, I could almost smell star smoke. And I could feel the women talking in the kitchen and the men in the living room doing whatever they were doing. I was too like a Hoover in a world where I was supposed to be an American. I'm supposed to be a heterosexual white girl who's Christian and celebrates all the Christian holidays. So it was nice to smell and taste those things. My father brought me to New Mexico when I was 5. So I have not been surrounded by Jewish community. I've been some, but certainly not embedded. In the second one, I recognized some Yemenite music, I thought, and I felt like I was dancing barefoot in the sand, and I could feel all the different influences and the circles and the spirals. And it reminded me too of tango, because I can do some of those moves to tango. And Yemenite dancing is a background to a lot of the klezmer stuff that we do. And the last one, while I'm not as well versed as the rest of you, I found myself reaching for the beautiful tallis that the artist Katz made for me and putting it over my head and just communing, being in my own little prayer tent. You chose some exquisite music because the sensation of those 3 types of music, they're so different. They take us to so many different places. It was a great combination, and the order was perfect. Thank you so much.
I just want to say it was beautiful to watch you all, and I had such a feeling of how that you're all dancers and grateful for the chance to just really let it go and feel and move, and probably how much we all need that. So it was beautiful to see. Yosa.
Do you know Cafe Finjan in New York City? Does that mean anything?
I remember it, of course.
Yeah, my parents used to take me there. And I was telling Carola and Diane that I remember I was dancing between them while they were sitting down at the table. And so it brought back very, very sweet memories. Yeah, and I did relate to the first one too, because I had picked up snatches of photographs and Yiddish from family and friends and just being in New York. So thank you very much.
Carola.
Yeah, I wouldn't say much. I shared in a little group, but I want to thank you for your offering and invitation to connect with all kinds of Jewish influences. And I did share, for me, it's very powerful to honor my ancestors like that. I may not identify so much or have history or memory, but sensing through the music and the sounds and the language and knowing a bit of the history and the resistances and the joy that to me is like honoring the ancestors. And so like that, I'll use it also like that, offering people to listen to it if they can get a taste of a time and a culture and a past or a present. So I don't use it in the context of identity. So that's me. And I was sharing that, and I really feel it touches me so deeply how much you all have to struggle in the United States with this rising polarities and excluding and fighting and or the institutional politics like that. And I was sharing a moment for me, of deep insight at a Ruach Haaretz meeting somewhere around 2000 and something, that I was doing in the afternoon a class with Nancy Katz on making mezuzot. And we were like an art class and making mezuzot. And then she came with a copied cloth, the content of a mezuzah. And I was very critical Dutch formal lady and said, how can you do that? You need to have a real one, a written one, and the rabbis have to agree, otherwise it's not a kosher one. And she looked at me and said, being Jewish in the United States is no issue. And I looked at her and I thought, oh gosh, that's what I feel in the United States, this openness, this invitation to creativity, while in the Netherlands with the rabbinic power, the judges, the controllers, there was not much good of what I was doing. It wasn't kosher enough. So I received so much of this no issue. You can express, you can create, you can even create your own community. You can, and people allow you to have that, and you can have positions in power even. So I'm really sorry that the zeitgeist is really against that. So I'll pray for you to go back to this inner creative sense of being connected and being human, and just share your soul, no matter what.
Diane.
Yeah, Shamati, thank you, Carola. And nevertheless, I think that what we're experiencing is exactly what we talked about with Heshvan. This is it's a narrow, dark place that is trying to squeeze us through to another level, madrega, and it's very challenging. And what I feel with the younger people I'm working with, and there is a lot of language that I don't connect with around this, and a lot of attention to proper pronouns and where do you come from and etc. And I have to honor where that's coming from right now. The work that we're doing in Taproot is, and it's hard to stay focused on it, but it's this very thing of offering a space where people can connect with their lineages, and framed in the context of how can we be better white people? How can we be better co-conspirators? how can we help to undo racism in all its forms? That's what the younger people are so focused on right now. And they do want this. They do want this connectedness. So I think, and this is also the, for me, it's the great gift of our mystical tradition, which we are blessed to kind of be steeped in Jewish renewal, is holding more and more complexity and recognizing that it's part of the oneness. And I have to work on myself every day not to get my feelings hurt, and also to stand up for myself at the same time. And how to do both of those, and how not to get defensive, and yet how to hold the ground and say, yeah, I don't want to be pulled into a place of identity politics, and I need to engage with it, find a way to engage with it where I can bring my insight and my, just personally, I was really shut down by the first piece of music. And I don't think it was just that it was the Yiddish, because, you know, I'm 99% Ashkenazi, Eastern European, but I think maybe it was the particular quality of that piece. I don't know, but I didn't identify with it. And I was just like, ugh. And then the second piece came on and I was like, that's not me, but my body just loved it. My body just went with it. It was like, okay, maybe that is me. That was the biggest surprise for me. And then, of course, Richard singing Rabbi Nachman's Niggin, and that I've taught so many times and worked with. But again, I think we talked about in our trio, in our breakout room, how blessed we are in Jewish renewal to have really this opening into the mystical tradition, and how that does open the channels and connect us with the bigger world in a non-binary way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what is this path of healing that makes us, you know, that's the nifal, that's the nefilah, the nun of Cheshvan, that we have to go back into the world where everyone's fighting with each other somehow and find a way, like you taught us, Yosa, with the 7 beggars, to somehow exist in this world and bring goodness and lift it up. That's, I think, what we're here for. So thank you. This was so rich, and I hope we will do more explorations. You know, it's the scorpion sting of identity, which is also an opening, a door that opens into very rich landscape, if we can not be killed by it.
I wanted to add one note and also just make sure Rhonda had a chance to speak, and then we should respect the time. Rhonda, did you want to share anything?
Rhonda. Woohoo.
She's unmuted, but still we can't hear her.
Check your speaker. Your microphone.
It was fine earlier.
We can't hear you.
It's okay.
I'll put it.
You are.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Weird. I don't know why that happened. Anyway, I'm trying a new speaker, external speaker. So my father's first language was Yiddish, and so although I grew up in Phoenix without all the, you know, kind of heavy East Coast Ashkenazi stuff, it was like a window to a world that I don't know. And I just wanted to say, in terms of Yiddish, there's this revival happening by people who are a good 30 years younger than me. So I think that's really interesting. And maybe it's sort of part of this taproot thing of people wanting to connect to their roots.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mizrahi music, I felt like a temple dancer, you know, and I even got my scarf out so that I could, you know, it was very, you know, it was very much belly dance music. So, and that great tradition of being the temple priestess, and that what we've lost from the sensuality and femininity. And then the last one, just, the music just, I felt like I was just being stretched to open my soul and my heart even more and be supported by source. There's a kind of a growing, and it's a little painful, but very expansive. So thank you.
And I will share one thought, if you can hear me. I've really been thinking about this on the healing parts of movement, not just dance therapy, not just working with, specific problems, but fixing problems, but what it means to, can you hear? Yeah. So I just wanted to share something. Just a minute, the programs are coming for the American Psychological Association. So go out, please.
It's like my husband.
God. All right, let me just finish up here. So the president-elect is a young Black woman who, she was on a panel with Trump, and she's like, they're all talking about the resistance and fighting oppression and all that. And so what I've done is we had the Psychologists Against Anti-Semitism, our candidate for the next round of president for APA, who's a nice Jewish woman. So we've had 5 Black presidents. She was also running against one of my best friends, who's a white Jewish male. So forget about it. He's not even in the running. But so we were all supporting Beth. She came in second. But what I want to do is have a panel. The Black woman, Tema, is also, which is amazing for psychology. She's also a dancer, a poet, and a minister. So she really respects religion. And I've been called, her mother is my age. So there goes the generation. And I'm trying to put together a panel. I've been sending her that iconic photo of Martin Luther King and Abraham Joshua Heschel. And I said, it's time for us to get back to working together to confront hatred. And so I've organized a panel at APA. There's something called Impact, which is like a 10-minute main stage data blitz. And so she's going to support that we get, and Beth, who's Jewish, and Jennifer Kelly, who's a Black former president from Atlanta, are going to be on this panel together, talking about what we do together. So I have women.
Dance together, dance together.
Yes.
Dance together.
And this is women power, looking for bridges and connections. So we'll all be on a panel, and I'm going to videotape it and make sure that all the divisions get a copy of it. So that's how I'm trying to focus on healing, and just to share it with you. It's been a lot of late nights pulling these panels together, but yeah. And I'm going to edit this.
Share it with us too.
Yeah, the videotape. I have all the individual women speaking. They each have 10 minutes. So it was much too much to share now. The mothers of dance therapy. They're beautiful stories, though, and they're in that book, which is much too expensive to buy now. It's like $150. I don't have a copy, but it's in the chapters. And I'm going to edit the videotape of everybody speaking, including Kohenet, Alisa Rivka, talking about Kohenet and the new generation. Put it all into one videotape and get that online. So when that's ready, I'll send you a copy.
Thank you so much, Eileen. This was really rich. I'll just say that I was the rabbi in residence at the conference that birthed that book. So it was really powerful to be there and be there with my dance friends and see how much integration and support there is for spirituality, as well as the legacy kind of stuff, choreography that's still happening. Lots of Holocaust choreography still happening. Younger people are doing it. It's still being processed through. So I'll send everyone out. There are 2 recordings from today because I inadvertently turned it off and had to start a new recording for this last part. I did not record the breakout rooms at all, but just the teaching, and then our group conversation. So that'll go out to people who wanted to see the video and couldn't be here today. I'll send you just an email about next month. The date I had originally set is now going to be not possible because I'll be on a Taproot retreat. So the date that our next time will fall on will be Christmas Day, and I just need to see how many people will be available for that day. If you're willing to do an embodying spirit gathering on Christmas Day. So, and then we'll think about next year. So this has just been so rich. Thank you so much to all of you, and especially to you, Hudit, and for bringing your wealth of experience and guiding us into very rich exploration. So happy Kislev, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yehudi. It's wonderful.
Chodesh Tov.
Notice too. Avio.
This too.